had a good week so far. It's been a quite productive week so far. We've got quite a lot done, so and we're getting places with it as well, which is always nice because there was quite a lot of rubble to dig through. Even though Graham had moved a lot of the rubble out of here, we still had quite a lot to shift. So a lot of plaster.
How long have you got?
We've got until Friday.
Oh God, that's not long, is it?
It's, I think it'll be long enough. I think we'll be okay. Until Friday.
Until Friday.
Yeah. So we've had. Well, this is our 5th day today. So I think it'll be okay. We're on to floor layers, and I don't think there's. Well, it's getting a wee bit complicated over here, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I think we'll be okay. We're going to open some other trenches as well. So. And we've got some stuff open in the garden out the back. Yeah, yeah.
In this wee corner out there, Ronnie, there was like a pile of pan tiles and plaster sort of piled up in the corner, just like you'd expect with a derelict building. And that's the floor now. We get down. Found a nice wee thimble. Copper alloy thimble.
Is it significant to the school, or is it just a good find?
I don't know, it's hard to tell whether it would just be something that was practical and needed for everyday life, or whether it was actually like a sewing lesson. Couldn't really say.
Today we've extended this trench in front of the fireplace in the east gable. We found huge amounts of broken plaster, a very uneven floor surface, and what we've just found just now coming across here appears to be a drain. So that's a very interesting feature. And it's producing lots and lots of this 19th century rubbish, lots of bottle, broken bottle, glass, obviously, pottery, just debris. We've got bits of lamp covers, the wick cover for a lamp. We even came up with a paint pot today, a very, very rusted small tin of paint, and you can still see the dried paint on the inside. So that's what we've been up to today.
1700s, the school was built, but there was modifications at some point in the 19th century, and it went out of use.
The gable end fire would have been.
Well, this. Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a bit of modification to the fireplace in there, and possibly to the fireplace at the other end as well. But then open up these two trenches at either end of the site. And really we're focusing on the fireplaces for now. Eventually we're going to join these up with another trench and see if we can pick up internal divisions within the structure, because the archaeology has shown us that there's definitely been 2 rooms. We sort of knew this from the historical record anyway, but there's quite marked differences between the 2 rooms. So at the eastern end of the site, this trench was full with plaster and rubble, but the quantity of plaster was quite amazing. It was loads and loads of stuff. We had a big piece of plaster which had clearly fallen straight down from the ceiling. It had landed right in the middle of the trench. I'll just show you where. It covered a big area right across the middle here, and on the back of the plaster you could see the strips where the lath had been. So the piece had really fallen straight down on top. What I'm standing on is not the floor. What we think's happened is there's been a wooden floor in this side of the structure. So you've got a wooden floor, plaster ceiling and walls, and this has been put in at some point in the 19th century. It's pretty hard to date it exactly, but there's some of the stuff that Graham can tell you later. He'll be able to talk about. There are records of modifications been made, money been put into the school to refurbish it. So I'm assuming that perhaps this is the end of the school which has seen the money. This is where the modifications have taken place. You can see at the bottom of the fireplace there's a lip just here, this is approximately where I think the floor level was. So there's a number of stones which may have supported beams, and on that there were floorboards. And it's after the building has gone out of use, somebody's come in and stripped all the timber out because it would be valuable. And after that, parts of the walls have fallen in, so we've got all this plaster falling in and rubble. But where things get a wee bit interesting is actually previous to this. And the dark material you can see down in here is actually on quite a hard surface. It's a solid clay floor. And I think what's happened is, or what Ian thinks has happened, and I, is basically that the original floor has been too low, or has sunken maybe. You can see there's quite an angle to this.
Up in the corner.
Yeah, that's where it starts. So it slopes right down, so just wear and tear. They've decided to raise the level. And it may be something to do with fitting a new fireplace or something in here. And all this material, this brown stuff with rubble in, and all these stones have been brought in, dumped in, and on top of that the wooden floor's been built. So we're just starting to expose this, which could be the original floor. There may be another floor underneath it, you never know. But this may be the original floor, and I suspect then we'll find an original fireplace as well. Now there's a number of things have happened to the structure after it's gone out of use, which have really messed up the story for us a wee bit. I mean, I think one of the major things has been removal of lintels from across the windows. There may have been a window in here, but it's going to be impossible to say, I think. But it certainly looks like from all the other windows, lintels have been robbed out intentionally. In fact, one sill has been taken from the window over here. All the others have been left in, though, maybe just too much hassle to move them. But yeah, so you've got quite a lot of destruction of the building, intentional destruction of the building after it's gone out of use in 1861, around that time, probably just to retrieve all the materials. And
Recycling.
yeah, recycling. And one of the materials has been pan tiles. The roof definitely had red pan tiles on it. You see bits and pieces of them probably lying about all over the place, and we've got a big pile over there. Apparently there is a roof in the craft village made out of pan tiles, and it's known that they came from here. So whether or not the pan tiles were, taken down and actually taken away originally is unknown. But I think there was talk about a stack of pan tiles just beside the building, so they were put there for later use, and then somebody did come and use them. So, but one interesting point is the fact that we've had pan tiles within this lower deposit, broken pan tiles, which suggests that around the time that this deposit was brought in to raise the floor level, something was happening with the roof as well. So perhaps with the money that they had to do up the place, they got money to put plaster on the walls, put a wooden floor in, and redo the roof, because originally it was supposed to have had a thatched roof. So
Where would the clay come from?
the clay's all over the place as far as I'm aware. Graham has told me that Durness is very rich in clay, and quite good clay deposits as well, but I don't know if anybody here knows anything more about that than I do, but Graham will certainly be able to tell you about it. But yeah, so the clay floor is a very typical thing in the 17th century, 18th century. So to go from that room, which is modernised and plastered and probably quite light with these windows on either side, maybe this window, we come over to this end, which is really quite different. Basically what we've got is a nice hard clay floor, which probably similar more to the lower floor in this side of the building. It seems to have been patched with mortar. This is mortar in here, this yellow material. And in various places stones have been put in, so presumably with the clay floor areas have sunk and worn through time, and fairly basic repairs have been made.